welcome everybody. Thanks for coming. My name is Frances Harder, founder of the FBI, Fashion Business Incorporated. We provide business development to manufacturers and startup companies and retailers, and also we do job retraining and training. We've just recently moved out, but we've got a great facility on the other side. Trish is our executive director. If you need to know anything about what we do, we're doing now monthly memberships for $20 a month. It's a great deal, isn't it?
Amazing deal.
We've got amazing consultants who help develop webinars and seminars, and live now on Facebook. So anyway, one of my interesting jobs recently has been working with the United Nations, helping companies in Nepal and Peru develop the product to enter the American market. And through that connection, I've been able now to pass on to Syama, who is also amazingly talented on all the things like social media that I'm a dinosaur. So, Syama, introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi guys. Good morning. So I'm Syama Maher, and I run Scaling Retail, which is a retail strategy agency. And so we work with marketing, sales, merchandising, all of the non-sexy things about launching a business, like how you make money. So most of the important things. It's sexy to me, but a lot of the creatives out there love the design process, and I love the money-making process. FBI is such a fantastic organization. Obviously, I'm going to constantly hype these guys up, but for anyone out there who's looking for resources, trying to figure out what to do, find the right contacts, actually get a great community and support system, which I think is severely lacking in the industry. I think FBI offers that tremendously to people, right? Sometimes it can feel really alone having to go after doing a business. So anyway, not to draw tears, but I think these guys are fantastic. And today, I think what's really exciting is we're going to talk a lot about niche retailing. And so, not to kind of make it seem so dire, but everyone's been hearing just, this crisis of faith in retail, right? It's like everyone's shutting down, doors are, people are getting unemployed, what's happening in the industry, what can we really be doing? Are we in the right business? Is this something that we need to be considering as we further develop and grow? And so I think today we're going to talk about one of the great strategies that we're finding that's working in retail, and that is, the niche retailers.
Good. Okay, so let's get started and have a little conversation about all these movements that are happening now and what people are doing about it, reinventing themselves, bricks and mortar. I read this morning.
You can't see it. Oh, snap. Well,
are we in the way?
Should I move over this way and you can sit on this side, or
Yeah.
Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
I can move over.
Yeah, if you guys both kind of point in, so you can both see.
Yeah.
I can still get you
a further back. We
Yeah.
can kind of like open it up like that.
How's that?
Is that better?
Is that better for you?
Yeah. Yep.
Is that okay?
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so niche versus mass, and I think my feeling is, and see what you feel, is it all oftentimes, there's a lot to go into it, but one of the aspects I feel is people don't have time these days to go shopping. I don't know about you, in the 90s people would go for a day shopping at the mall, and you'd go with your daughter or somebody to go shopping, and nobody has time. We're all caught up in our social media or getting on the computer because we've got to do stuff. So this is consuming our life, and so that time that we used to spend to maybe peruse the mall is no longer there. And I read there's going to be over 1,000 malls closing across America. So what's happening is people are targeting where they want to shop, and they go in there. So this niche marketing.
It's so big, guys. So we start to think about this concept of lifestyle, right? You guys all heard, I want to have a lifestyle brand or have a lifestyle boutique. And so this concept that's really shifting is really moving away from category buying, walking into a store and seeing many different kinds of customers, to retailers really focusing on that communication with one customer, right? It kind of brings us back to an analogy of thinking about, Facebook, right? And Mark Zuckerberg creating a platform for one person, right? Or one category, one type of people, and really focusing on growing that consumer conversation and then letting it kind of trickle out organically, right? So as you guys, I wanted to raise a hand here. Do you guys all own retail stores, online stores? Yeah, do we have any brick and mortar stores here? Amazing. Do we have any brands here that are trying to figure out what's going on? Amazing. So you guys are all a great subsection of, what's happening, right? So business models are changing, right? You have your online as well as your in-store, and so that lifestyle consumer is looking to have a very 360-degree experience in this niche and lifestyle way.
It's also the other thing I find is very confusing for everybody, even the manufacturers, is what is a trend these days? Identifying trends is so difficult. It's not like we're all wearing the miniskirt, hot pants. You can wear whatever you want. So this also makes it very difficult because we're also, we've got black pants in our own wardrobes, and we've got certain things that we can mix and match with vintage pieces. And basically, it's all about merchandising these days. So what you wear, when we look around, is there a particular trend? Besides the active wear we see at leisure, which is the huge big thing, the trend situation, it doesn't happen that you following trends from Paris and New York anymore. You're following really what's happening on the streets.
Absolutely, and it's also reflecting, you guys, in your marketing, right? So when we think about how you're taking trend analysis and how you're looking at what people are wearing, it heavily gets reflected in, again, this context of lifestyle that gets interpreted through your social media, paid and organic, as well as anything else you do. So for example, if I'm going to, has anyone tried to do Facebook ads? Okay, I expect to see more hands. Right? A lot of people try, they put some money, they try to do advertising. It's really challenging if you aren't well versed in it. But what's important here is when you think about assorting for your customer, merchandising for your customer, you not only take, let's say, general trends, but you start to understand what is their lifestyle? Do they use Airbnb, right? Are you going to be then taking that customer profile demographic and then able to translate that into all of your marketing strategies? Right? So when you're building out your ideal customer from a merchandising standpoint, I think it's also relevant to say you're building out the psychographics and their behavior patterns from a marketing standpoint, right? So it's really looking at, merchandising or customer profiling, again, from a 360-degree perspective. If your customer is going to yoga and they're heavy in the athleisure market, well, possibly for your Facebook marketing, you're going to start to also be targeting not just health and wellness, but maybe very specific yoga trends, right? Maybe very specific, types of brands or larger magazines or lifestyle, right? So it's taking that customer profile and really applying that through different areas of your business.
Right. I mean, we're all seeing this whole leisure and wearing your leggings from going to do yoga or whatever it is, and then putting on a jacket, t-shirt, and off you go for lunch, or you can go to work. That whole crossover, and more people working from home. So you're not being dictated to so much as far as you have to wear a jacket and pants to wear, or skirt, depending on what the job is. It's a very different environment.
Absolutely, and it's one that really requires you to do some deep sleuthing into who your customer is. And I think the examples that we're going to talk about today, the different brands that we'll talk about, have done that sleuthing, right? And so that means, and I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but the clients I work with, sometimes I get people who are like, oh yeah, I want to sell to women who go out at night and go to work during the day, who have, who make $60,000 a year. And I'm like, do you know how vague that is? Like, how are you creating a product for that person and going to market to that person when you can't even tell me exactly who that person is? You have to really step away from marketing and merchandising generalities here, because even ideas of the lifestyle of your customer, if any of you guys out there who are producing your own collections, would have to take even their lifestyle into fit and sizing recommendations, right? Like, how is that person's lifestyle going to translate into, and now I'm going like really nerdy, I guess, but how is that person's lifestyle going to translate into, how the rise of the pant is, or like what's going to be more functional for them, right? So again, I guess it's really flipping the script on how we look at merchandising, sales, and marketing, right? And seeing how these niche retailers aren't starting from product development or just the merchandise and then trying to sell it and trying to market it afterwards. It's saying, flip the script, what's the market, right? How am I going to market this? Then, what is the sales channel that's going to supply that? And then, what's the product, right, that's going to supply the sales channel, that's going to supply the marketing?
Price point. Price point, when I speak to my retailers I know who's still in business, and I was one in Redondo Beach, and I would say to have ribbons, I don't know if anyone's from Redondo Beach, but she's been in business for 20 odd years, and I said to her, how are you staying in business? And she's always got people in there. She said, I know what people can afford on impulse buying. So we all know that we don't need any more new clothes. We don't need clothes. It's not like clothes are a necessity. We buy them out of feeling good, out of impulse buying, a reward at the end of the week, or whatever. So you have to get into the psyche of what is that trigger that will then make somebody go, okay, I don't need a new t-shirt, but you know what, this is cute, I'm going to buy it. Price point's right, it's $40, $50, whatever it is. So what is it that triggers people's reactions to want to buy? The other thing is, once you have understood your client, what they can afford, is also making sure that you can also give them alternatives as to how to wear things. That means merchandising your goods and understanding of your stressing is understanding your clients. Some of the big bricks and mortar stores are doing body scanning. They're not carrying as much inventory. Body scanning, you can choose the style is made to measure, it's shipped to you at the end of the week. This is the way it's going. So you don't have to have a huge inventory of stuff that you're left with on the markdown rack. You have pieces that people choose, it can be custom made to them, and then it's shipped to them at the end of the week.
And that is a great model, right? But that is a model that requires that you have some thought and planning, right? Otherwise it becomes...
Investment. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I think today what we'll see is, there are so many different strategies anyone can take. The biggest problem is when you try on too many at once. Right? You're like, oh, I'm going to try this and that, and the market only knows what you tell them. And so I think it's really important, I think Francis kind of stressed this, which is, there is no one particular style, and, there's really a product for everybody, there's a market for every product, So it's important to think about as we're, developing strategies and as you're developing your models on either how to launch or pivot at this point, depending on where you are, that we really think about what models kind of suit your business and what models really suit your main business objectives, right? And building out your business to kind of suit that, because it isn't a one-size-fits-all business modeling approach as it used to be. I mean, it's changed, right? Markets have changed, everything's changed.
Well, we've got the monster in the room behind us, right?
Right.
It's taking over. So, how can you compete with Amazon when their profit margins, normally for a retailer, the markup is, 2.2 or, marking up 65% or something. Well, when you look at Amazon, what's their markup? They're not even making money on the books yet. And yet the stock's gone up to $1,000 a stock. So when they're only marking up 5-6%, it's so tough to try to compete.
Especially, guys, because Amazon makes their money in advertising, right? Like Amazon gets paid, so like their highest revenue stream is advertising dollars from the vendors who are selling on Amazon, right? And Amazon hasn't even figured out how to do fashion right. They tried to do a handmade division, totally sucked. They launched their Amazon fashion. They hired Julie Gilhart, who was a former colleague of mine at Barney's many years ago. She came on board a few years ago to help revamp their fashion department. Also, just didn't, it's like Amazon's not doing it. And they're trying again. They're going to keep trying. Right, but the one thing they can't get right is that customer conversation, because their user experience just sucks. It's like no one goes on there and has this real feeling of what it is to be that customer or be that shopper, right? And you don't have that connection.
Well, they bought Zappos now, right? So what happened to that? Is Zappos still in business?
Yes,
interesting. Yeah. So, okay. So, what's next? Niche.
So the Veil Collective in Brooklyn. Now, these guys are awesome, right? These guys, Francis, they launched a retail store in Brooklyn. What was so cool about this brand is they launched and said, hey, we want to do brick and mortar. It's like, how many people are going, I want to do a 2,000 square foot brick and mortar space, right? Not that many people are investing that way these days. And what they said is, hey, we're actually going to focus really specifically on women, but we're going to be really innovative with how we're doing our in-store merchandising. We're going to put a coffee shop in the front. We're going to have seating outside the store, and then in the back of the store, they have a whole other outdoor seating area, right? So the customers have to walk through the store in order to get from, the front half of the coffee shop to the back. And then downstairs, guys, they have an art gallery, right? So we're starting to see these like mixed-use, multi-use spaces. They're not only catering just to this niche woman, right, but they're catering to this niche lifestyle, right? This whole identity of a customer.
Well, that's so great, because we're just possibly going to be moving into the art district, and we talked about moving in with an art gallery as well. It's the thing, the crossover of all the arts, right? Which clothing is basically an ultimate art form.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's about, I think, being more to your customer than just a thing, right? And I think a lot of people are trying to find deeper meaning behind the products that they're selling, and I think that comes from thinking outside of I'm just selling a product, but going back to the selling an experience, right? You're selling feelings, you're selling an experience, and that translates, guys, through your images, through your styling, through your brand communication, all of that.
So the other one that you talked about here, Other Wild.
Oh yeah, have you guys been to Other Wild yet? No. Oh, it's amazing. It's a great shop. So this is an example of a small boutique that's gone from one coast and has opened up a second location in New York, right? So again, in the age of retail stores are dying, everything is going to hell, what's happening? Here you have an example of a small retail boutique in Los Angeles that's really honed in on their customer demographic, that's really developed a strong platform, strong messaging, and that's taking their store and they've just relocated. They relocated from Silver Lake to Los Feliz, and then they opened up a second location in New York, in the Lower East Side. And so, again, when you're building a tribe, right, when you think about your brand beyond, again, product, but community, right, and communication, then all of a sudden, when you do open up another location, you have people there who want that, right? You're building up your brand voice. And they did that with social media, they did that with holding in-store events, they did that with brand collaborations. And before they even went into the New York market, they did that with pop-up shops, right? So you're finding that brands that have online spaces and physical spaces are testing out a variety of different strategies before they commit, right? And I think that's really important to consider.
And I think you touched on a very important point, that is brand collaboration. So we just got back from China, when you see the stores over there, they rent the space out and the floors to brands. So these stores don't have to go out with their buyers and choose products. They rent the stores out to the manufacturers who then go in and put their own product in. They man it themselves. What a great idea. When you think about Macy's and what's going on, all these companies all these stores are crumbling. But if they rented out the floor space to the brands who then took responsibility for whatever products are in there, that would make much more sense. So you're talking about with the smaller specialty stores or the niche market stores, if they work with brands, they could do trunk shows, they can have events, they can cross-market, all working together to cross-market one another. That's the way it's going to go, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's such a great point. I was recently on NPR the other week on Marketplace about co-retailing, about this very same topic. It was asking about companies. Are you guys familiar with like Wolf and Badger and Wolf and Badger, familiar? Or like Flying Solo? So these are some stores that have opened up in Soho, in New York, that are doing precisely this, right? They are renting out space in their store for designers, right? They provide the staffing, they provide the customer service, inventory management. They charge between $1,500 a month and $2,000 a month, plus a small percentage of commission in some cases, in order to stock the product in these high traffic locations. right? So as a model, right, as a business model, I can say that in the LA area, there's definitely an opportunity and some wiggle room to be able to enter and do some innovative things like that. You know, selling something like that is still really interesting. So on the brand side, if you were to sell an opportunity like that to a brand, you'd want to position this to them not as a revenue generating stream, but as a in-person touch point in terms of marketing, right? Because the truth of it is you don't know how much revenue they're going to get from having your products in their store, right? So when it comes to being ethically advertising your offering in terms of being able to rent out space, etc., I would say, hey, this is a high traffic touch point where we are going to get the most amount of data on if your price points are working, on what consumers are being attracted to your product. We're going to give you customer information, customer data. We're going to help you better market your products, right? And so I would definitely position it at revenue stream as well, certainly, but really push this other marketing and data side because smaller brands have a difficult time getting access to data, right? And data really drives a lot of your decision-making choices in product development, assortment, marketing, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, when you really consider what we deal with the new startup companies who often have some great ideas and wonderful products, their big problem is getting it to you guys. How do they find you? First of all, they have to find sales reps, and we get emails all the time. Can you find me a sales rep? Right? Well, that's not that easy.
If I had $1.
That's right. But then when they do, they're charged, maybe $1,000 a month, showroom participation fee, 12% or 15% on top of that. If there was a way for them to go to you or work with the retailers, and then there is at least some kind of split in their financial responsibilities and also the risks involved. Because at the moment, you bricks and mortar people are taking all the risks, and even if you're online, you have to buy the product, you have to warehouse it, you have to ship it. So you have to gamble on what you're going to be selling and who's going to be buying it. It is a risk, particularly in this environment.
Yeah.
So there's another one here called Field Trip that you know.
Oh yeah. So Field Trip is another great store that's also kind of adopted a mixed media environment. So Field Trip in Portland, what they do, which is so great, is not only do they source, just the right number of apothecary products and, home goods and some lifestyle ready-to-wear stuff, right? It's a nice mix of merchandise. Plus, they also hold classes, right, in the back of their store, right? They actually are doing things like, macrame workshops, and they're showing people how to do tie-dye and dip-dye, and they're really bringing the essence of their products. They're highlighting their vendors. Some of their vendors will host the classes that they are teaching, and what they're doing is they're bringing everything full circle, right? Because a customer that hangs out is a customer who's going to buy, right? If you can give your customers a reason to engage and stay there, then they're actually going to be able and more likely to want to buy something, especially if you include, a couple cocktails, a couple things to eat. But this childcare is a great idea. But this store has done an amazing job of sourcing, niche small brands, but really in terms of the customer engagement piece, I think is what's really getting people excited and motivated. It's like, how can you turn your retail space into something more than just a place to shop? And the other day I was talking about, the question was, if your products were free, what would you be selling? And the question you want to ask yourself is, do I have a strong enough brand? Am I communicating through my media company? Because all of you guys here today all own small media companies, right? Whether you're an individual and you have just your Instagram account, or you have a business and you have a website, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, whatever.
Sweet, really.
Yeah, but you're a media company, right? And so when you think about being a media company, that is what you're selling, right? You're selling content. And so that is very important, and also is a big foundation for how you push through any of these strategies.
Right. And also when you think about where we are located in California, people look to California for styles. They look for trends. And it's a great opportunity for you to maybe outreach through social media. I know my husband's German, you go there, a lot of people love California. I'm from England, we go to England, there's still, everybody although they pretend it starts there, it doesn't. It definitely starts in California. And California is still the largest apparel sector in the world, although, unfortunately it's not recognized for that. But, there is a huge marketing opportunity. And if you're selling online, how can you also optimize that selling online using this particular space where we're in California or Los Angeles, and the lifestyle and the weather and everything we have here, and entertainment and all those types of things to your advantage?
It was so cool. So one of my clients lives in the Caribbean, and she does this fabulous jewelry. And we're like, wow, how do we, without flying you out to the US, like how do we, how can we drum up some really interesting marketing? And so what we ended up doing, which has been so great, is every day on Instagram, she looks to see what micro-influencers are in the Caribbean, like on her island, who are passing through, who are posting photographs of like, hey, we're on vacation, or these like super curated micro-influencer images, and she direct messages them and says, hey, I noticed you're on the island, would love to gift you something, give you a little taste of the Caribbean to take home with you. And she's been building up these organic relationships with people simply based on their travel patterns, right? Because obviously if you're traveling somewhere and someone is like, hey, I want to bridge or create a relationship with you, you're like, oh my God, I'm so special. I want that, I want to know more. And so again, it's being very tasteful. It's not bombarding them and being grotesque about it. But these subtle ways of bridging communication, no matter where you're living, right, is really wonderful if you can reach out to people who are traveling in your neighborhoods.
And one of the niche online retailers was Bellgray.
Bellgray. So Bellgray is super interesting, guys. They are an online retailer. They specifically cater towards executive women. So women who are, who are growing in the executive ranks. So let's say they're between, 24 to like, I want to say about 50, right? So you have your theories, you have your, all of your mainstay brands. Also, they carry a lot of smaller brands, etc. But they really honed in on their message. And guess what they did? This is so cool. They also were a planner. But this is what was so cool.
They hired you?
Yes. And I'll tell you what we did. And this is so rad. So we basically positioned the founder of the company as, she came from UBS as an investment banker. And we positioned her as, this authority on how women should dress in the workplace, right? It's like everyone's talking about how you dress, the Silicon Valley thing has us all thinking we can wear khakis and whatever. But, which I don't think people wear khakis, but anyway. But we had this whole vision of how we could craft her as being the thought leader in executive dressing for women, and women who are graduating college, women who are trying to get a raise, etc. We built an entire content platform over how you can dress to get more money during your interview, how you can show that you're more professional, how you can find your power suit. We also had her start to pitch other investment banking HR departments and law firms, their HR departments, to say, hey, I'd love to give a seminar to your incoming recruits on how they can best dress, for success, if you will, in this corporate environment. And so playing again on thought leadership, which is something we haven't yet discussed, but thought leadership as well as, looking at these non-traditional segmentations of how you can actually get in front of your customer. We like to say it's about dominating Facebook or dominating Instagram. It is in so much as you're leveraging that to get in front of your customer, right? The person's actually going to buy something, right? But your customer has a job, right? Where do they work? Your customer buys groceries. Where do they buy groceries? And so getting in front of your customers in these, let's call them, sneaky kind of behind the scenes routing is a fantastic way then of not only imprinting branding of your company, which she did, getting people to buy by giving exclusive discounts to people who attended her seminars on how to dress, but it was able to give her word of mouth, right? Because now all of a sudden people are like, wow, there is something out there that really speaks to me. And she and I had so many discussions over, do we do other categories? Do we want to, bring in like the after work stuff? And we were like, no, we're going to be very, very specific, because because we want to satisfy a particular need for this person. We want to become the go-to, right? We don't want our customer to have to go to J. Crew and then go to Barney's and then go to Banana Republic. Like, we want to be able to merchandise what they need from their home or from their office.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's cool. Really cool stuff.
Okay, so we talked about athleisure. I mean, this is unbelievable what's happening with Lululemon, how it's taken off. And did you read that the stocks went up like crazy over the weekend? They've come out with a new invention for a bra, and so it's crazy. But then I read this morning about they found out Nike did a full investigation into compression fabrics and compression clothing, and they found it really didn't help with sports, with any of the active sportswear as far as improving their activity. So what will happen with that compression sportswear, I don't know. But this athleisure wear, this whole trend, I mean, it's a lifestyle trend.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Lululemon is a great example of, on a brand side, you go niche, right? And then you really like exploit what you're doing, right? You don't rush, right? I think this is kind of the big thing, especially when you're a brand. There's this feeling of, I've spent so much time and energy, and now I just want to, and I have this thing, and now I'm going to rush to like do all these other things. I'm going to rush to market to too many people, or rush to develop too many product categories without really, honing in on, again, that one person who's going to become your biggest brand ambassador for that item-driven brand, right? And so Lululemon definitely launched as very much an item-driven brand, and they developed and cultivated that following before they went into the men's market, right? They didn't launch and say, we're going to do women's and men's and kids, they were like, we're going to do women, we're going to launch specifically like this, and then they branched out organically.
Well, one of the other things I think we see now is the trends where it's not necessarily, okay, we're making for 18 to 50. You're seeing that crossover. It's a lifestyle. It could be anything from 18 to 80. Anything. I mean, you're seeing active sportswear, people in the gym, any age. So the crossover is more of a lifestyle than it is of anything else.
And it's so crazy because I've seen, and there have been some statistics out there that really reference this point dramatically in the sense that, I think it was something like, 10 years ago or 20 years ago, the people in whatever age demographic we're all in here today, we're dressing a lot older, right? And so you think about how we're dressing now versus, let's say, our parents at our age, right? It's very different, right? I mean, the whole notion of how we style, right? The notion of looking at these, amazing fashion icons and bloggers over 50, right? And they're dressing, in some cases, exactly the same as this, fashion icon and blogger who's like, 23. So you're totally right. I mean, it's not about the age, right? Although when it comes to marketing, the older demographics are more Facebook-centric, right? And then you have like Instagram as like this crossover demographic, right? And then you have from Instagram, and you kind of move into like Pinterest and Snapchat, which kind of bridge here. So in terms of marketing, there is a bit of differentiation. So the vehicles that you choose to advertise will be impacted by this, but the images that you use to sell your brand no longer have to be of, oh, I need a young-looking girl who looks like this, right? It's like you're actually going to find that by selling a lifestyle and using lots of different kinds of models, right? Lots of ages, but aesthetically styling that for your brand is going to get you far more traffic than you would otherwise, right? Because you're helping people self-identify.
Well, the other thing is also understanding demographics, and depending on if you are in Southern California, the weather is always relatively okay and good. So if you're going to be selling in Seattle, then you've got to be looking at different types of weather and what kind of people are wearing and have to wear because of that. Or say when we were designing for different parts of the country, we'd say, okay, we've got to think about Texas or Florida, so we've got to add some pink and bling. So we know that demographics there has that tendency to want certain or like certain colors over the West Coast or East Coast. So those bright pinks with a little bit of diamonds added, it goes very well. I mean, it sounds very odd, but it's true. In sort of Dallas areas or Texas areas and also in Florida. Pink and bling.
I love it. Awesome. So this is a very complicated slide.
Might take, that's a whole lecture on its own.
Yeah, that's right. It's a very complicated slide. These are great questions here, guys. I don't know if you can read them all, but how can you stand out from your competitors in a crowded retail environment? And the answer here is to focus on innovation and build up cachet. Yeah, I think that's really spot on. I mean, if you guys have been in business for a while, the question might be to you, is it time to pivot and narrow our brand messaging? The question might also be to you, do we have, are we willing to sacrifice what we have for the customers we want? Do we need to change our merchandising? If you're in here today and you're wondering, you're saying to yourself, something's not right, or something's struggling, I really would encourage you to take a look at your brand voice and messaging and really look at your customer demographics and how they're being impacted and reflected through your product choices, and through your price point choices and through your marketing channels.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very difficult market now. And what are your suggestions about personnel working in stores? If you walk in a store and either they're too enthusiastic and they go after you and start bothering you, what can we help you with? It's like, no, leave me alone. But certain people do need that help.
Especially when you're strapped for cash and you're hiring someone who's young and who has very little to no experience. It's very important, guys, for the main brands that you have a lot of inventory in. You want to make sure your customer service staff are well versed on how to sell the line. So you want to make sure that your brands that you're carrying are supplying you with recent press decks. You want to make sure that you have lists of benefits and features. Possibly have your brands come in and maybe give a little pep talk, and it could be 10 minutes, have them bring coffee, and make sure that everyone involved on the floor is as well versed into why you bought the product as you are, right? Because you might understand what's so cool about these buttons, but if your sales associate has no idea, then it's just not going to move. And sometimes it's really a lack of communication, I think.
Definitely training. Yeah. And they're not all on that phone all the time, right?
Yeah, or if they are on the phone, it's like, how can they be? Oh, and if you have a brick and mortar space and you're catering to a younger demo, I would look into like Snapchat geo filtering, where you can like create a little geo filter for your location, and everyone who comes by is going to be able to tag themselves and be there, and you can create some momentum. So think about, given that we are still very much connected, and I'm not a techno-utopian kind of person, but, I do kind of feel it is synergistic, and we have to find ways of working and dealing with technology. And so if you do have sales associates that are on the phone all the time, certainly get them to pay more attention on the sales floor, but also direct their attention. If someone's really interested in Instagram or someone's really interested in a certain channel, see if you can train them to take on some of these responsibilities in addition to being on the sales floor. Because certainly, if it's not busy all the time, well, you might be able to use them in a variety of different ways.
Exactly. Well, thank you. Any of you got any questions for us?
Oh, yes. Please. I'll repeat the question for you guys.
As a startup brick and mortar, so how do you get that word out to the customer you're trying to reach? Like, I do a Facebook ads, and have a website, but I'm still not, and it takes a long time. It's not like you just run Facebook ads or post on Facebook, and that's going to get your customer in the door, or the customer that you want to reach. So, and then what is the real landscape for small boutiques?
Sure.
You talked about the majors. What's the landscape for small boutiques?
Sure, totally. So the question, guys, was, bye, thanks for coming. Bye, guys. So the question was, as a startup brick and mortar space, what is the landscape? So what's the state of the industry for smaller boutiques? And the second question is, correct me if I'm wrong here, but how best to go after getting in front of your target customer? So how best to go about marketing, and how to use Facebook might be a part B of that question as well.
Well, what's location is also another important thing. Location. Having foot traffic or something around you where people will be walking by and finding you. Are you in a...
Yeah, I'm in a center that has a Target, Home Goods, and I'm right next door to a beauty salon. There's a lawn store, like number, so it's a pretty big center. But still, my customer isn't necessarily just walking past the door.
Yeah, sure, totally. So there are a couple of cool things. I think, foot traffic is obviously so clutch here, but also really thinking about what are the other ways in which you can, let's say, do some co-opted advertising, right? So sometimes when we think about advertising, we think about, our need as a retailer to invest our dollars into acquisition of traffic. Oftentimes you can do things like co-op advertising with some of your brands. So if you have any key brands that you're building partnerships and developing relationships with, you can do into co-op advertising, which is you guys split the cost or have a certain percentage of what you're each spending in order to help generate traffic into the store. And so as far as the vehicles by which you can do this, so number one, I would say as far as the Facebook advertising, one platform I like to use, and yes, I also do Facebook advertising a lot, is Espresso. Right, so Espresso is a fantastic application, specifically I'd say for Facebook ads, so they do tout some Instagram advertising. I'd say it's really Facebook oriented. It allows you to do a lot of A/B split testing and come up with multivariate ads that you can then test, right? So partly, as a small business, some of the biggest challenges is if you're not a marketer, how do you know how to A/B split test, what kind of product and copy and images and all of that are really going to generate the most traffic? You certainly understand things like relevancy scores or, how much it costs to spend to get the impressions, but sometimes it's a matter of doing a mix of advertising in order to land on what resonates with that person, right? So I'd say try some multivariate advertising. Espresso is really, really helpful for that. The other thing I would think about doing is some local advertising in terms of like in-your-face advertising. So not just direct, and not just digital. So oftentimes people think marketing and they think of just like online marketing, but we are alive 24 hours a day and we're only on our computers, let's say maybe 7 of those hours, right? So there is an opportunity to get in front of people in other ways. I would consider maybe some mailers, some postcard mailers, I think would be a fantastic idea to generate some traffic and maybe have a re-grand store opening and, have people come in to kind of see the product and so do something like that. Maybe have someone doing some flyering. Think about maybe a local advertisement in a paper. I would also think about local radio. I mean, if you want to push the local thing, then you really need to become a thought leader in local. You might want to start looking at small business communities locally and see what other people are doing to activate in your market, and start thinking about, who is that customer? Can you have a talk or can you help people dress better? Like, what is your thing? And then how do you take your thing and push that in front of more people? The biggest issue I have with people with brick and mortar stores is they think everyone's just supposed to come to them. You need to go to them too, right? Like you need to
the chamber.
Amazing.
All the different networks.
Amazing.
But could you think about maybe doing a trunk show, or there you are, you buy those big retail stores, you talked about Target, you talked about Vons, or wherever these other stores are, maybe if you had a couple of models walking around and handing out flyers, that might draw them in some way.
We have an idea?
Yeah, so can I ask what kind of products you have? It's kind of hard to hear.
What price point?
Your price point.
The price point? Price point starts from
So you're
right now.
Target in a way,
Right? I'm sorry?
you're competing with Target in a way, no?
With Target, not at all. My product is more similar to White House Black Market. White House Black Market.
Okay.
Is like that's what that's similar to. Yeah, so not Target store.
I mean, but the main traffic around your store is because of Target and these big stores, right?
Yeah.
So how do you do the?
Yeah, I mean, another idea that came to mind was local Facebook groups, right? So again, thinking about how to get in front of locally. The big thing you have when you have a space that's next to other retailers is certainly merchandising your windows, and having someone sitting at the door. And as far as like implementing those things, I would say don't test and do everything at once. Like give yourself experiment windows. So I'm going to try this activity. I'm going to try it for 3 months or 60 days. I'm going to see how it goes. I'm going to evaluate my results, what I invested, and I'm going to try another strategy, right? So as opposed to trying a few at once and kind of getting like a little overwhelmed about the ROIs on these things, because certainly you're going to want to be able to see what actually has an impact. And if you're doing a lot of things at once, you may not be so clear on what was the most impactful. Also, just long-term brand awareness, right? So it takes time.
Get a model and a dog, walk around. Everybody loves dogs.
I do. Any other questions, guys? Anything else you guys want to ask?
Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah,
and hopefully we'll see you again. If anyone's got any questions, you've got our contact information then.
Yeah, we're here.
So it's kind of hard to read your social media.
Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so all of these say Fashion Biz Inc.
Fashion Biz Inc. Okay.
Fashion Biz Inc.
BIZINC.
Yeah, like or that or
Yeah, all the
Exactly.
same.
Totally. And you guys can find me on these same platforms, but at Scaling Retail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, it's kind of.
So one question you didn't answer, the
Yes.
landscape for
Oh, yeah, totally. So what's so interesting is there are more boutiques that have been opening up in like little micro neighborhoods. So I haven't seen a ton opening up in like major, like let's say like downtown San Francisco as an example, right? There aren't a lot of smaller boutiques that are opening up in these downtown areas, but in these micro neighborhoods, as you're starting to see more influx of coffee shops and people being pushed out into some suburbs, you're definitely seeing more and more small boutiques that are coming up. One market that I think is extremely valuable that has been some people are starting to tap into but haven't quite hit yet is all over the country there are all of these startup incubators and all of these tech startups that are coming up, and these states are doing as much as they can to retain these companies, not to move out to New York or California. And so by virtue of trying to retain a lot of these startups, they're also building more wealthier communities because they're hiring more people, the salaries are going up, obviously people are moving to these areas. So what you're finding is more development is happening in these places where you're starting to see more tech startups come up. So I would say keep your eye out not just on what's happening in that space in terms of like geography or places and ways to market, but also take a look at year-over-year delta. So it's not just what are the top cities in the country that are doing well, but what have the highest delta of performance year-over-year, and how can you capitalize on that? Because it's not, again, about always the top 10 cities in the country. There's so many other places, right? And so if you have an online store and you're thinking about like marketing online, like look at these high delta cities and try to segment to them. And as far as the small boutiques are concerned, yes, I'm seeing a positive outlook for small boutiques. I'm also seeing a lot of boutiques that are starting off doing like segmented city pop-up shops before deciding on where to open up their store in order to kind of test market and see what's performing well. Warby Parker did this quite well, but that's another trend that I'm seeing.
Yeah, the pop-up stores and online stores working together is another good way of doing it.
Yeah, totally.
Well, thanks everybody. Sorry.
One last question. Do you think that most of this information can also apply to bridal boutique?
Bridal?
Yeah. Or is that just
Bridal is such a very niche market, and it's a tough one. So
I definitely think my like tech startup idea could certainly be applicable as far as places to target for where people are going to be getting married, depending on the price points, etc. That's just like a general statement that I think can apply to any market. As far as like the niche retailing on the bridal side, you definitely want to be pushing forward the trunk shows, and I would say maybe even do like a vendor collaboration with like the champagne company that, like think of yourself more as an event producer than as a bridal store.
I also think they should be thinking of the body scanning, the whole mass customization, made to measure, choosing styles, body scan, having made
Yeah,
to
totally.
fit that client.
So partner up. So there are all these tech startups that are coming out that are dying for retail guinea pigs, right? They're like, oh, we have all these like super smart ideas, but how do we implement that, right? And so maybe take a look on AngelList. You know, take a look at and see like who's doing what in the industry, and see if there's a way to partner up to do something really innovative in your space. Yes.
Is there anyone particularly you're thinking of in terms of the tech startup that's looking? Why do you say that?
Oh, because she was talking about the body scanning and kind of implementing using technology, and so I've actually been approached by quite a few tech startups who are like, oh, I have this new technology, I have that new technology. You know, how can you help me get into or meet with brands, for example? Or, you know, how can I start to, you know, get in front of these retailers, etc. So at this particular moment, no one comes to mind, but I have certainly had that experience validated.
Are you using any of that in your stores?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you using any
Yeah.
scanners?
It's something that has been explored.
Yeah, cool. Super cool.
Some very interesting things going on in that field. We're working with some companies doing that as well.
Anything else, guys? Any other questions, comments, feedback?
Thanks, everybody.